absolutely you're going to struggle to make money. So the first thing is this. When we're talking about mindset, talking about being pissed off you don't have money, talking about believing you can do it, all those things are essentially important. The reason we did the first video, in fact, if you were going to do, if you watch this entire series once, that's fine, but you need to watch the first video at least 20 times, because it's the mindset that's going to allow you to get anywhere else. So imagine you're starting from zero. You've now adopted my mindset. You've now started to learn how to fight, to get your body language right. Even now, even those two small things makes you a higher value person. Let me tell you something. You can go into a job and they're offering $20,000 a year. Keep the numbers simple. If you've implemented the lessons I've given you in the first and second video correctly, and you sit there and say, listen, I'm the best employee you are ever going to have. In fact, this is a fucking true story. I'm saying it like I'm giving you an example. This is a true story. When I was working sales jobs, I used to walk in there as arrogant as a motherfucker. Because if you run a company and you're going to hire someone to make you money, to work for you and sell your product, you don't want some fucking guys like, well, I'll try my best. No, I was as arrogant as a motherfucker. I'd walk into a sales job, I'd sit down and say, okay, before we continue, we need to talk about pay, because I'm worth more than the money you're offering. I'm going to explain to you why. But basically, I'm the best employee you will ever have. I'm guaranteeing you I will smash any sales record set by anyone else in that room. I will smash it. In fact, I will smash it to a point where I don't even want a basic wage. I want to be commission only. I want 3 times the commission that you're paying, because I don't take a basic. And I'm going to make more money than anyone else has ever made. You're going to pay me exorbitant sums of money. I'd sit there and say that to the MD, and the managing director would sit there and go, who the fuck is this cocky son of a bitch? But then he's sitting there thinking, well, if he's so sure he's going to make so much money, he's going to make me a lot of money. So they sit there and they test you. They say, well, why are you so sure of yourself? I'll say, because I'm the best. I'm the best salesman there's ever been. It doesn't matter what it is. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I'm the best salesman there's ever been, and I'm going to sell more product than anyone else has ever possibly sold. And so if you hire me, you need to be prepared to pay me huge sums of money. You need to speak to payroll and make sure they're prepared to spend $20,000 or $30,000 a month in wages. It has to come to me, and I want it on time. I don't want a basic. I want my commission. I want it once a month. I want you to make sure you have the facility to pay me $20,000 or $30,000 in one transfer at a time. So you check that before you consider about hiring me. I'd sit there and I'd say this shit. I never failed a job interview. Never. I never failed a job interview. How do you get rich? I got the best jobs. I walked into jobs where you needed a university degree. I didn't have a university degree. I say, why didn't you have a university degree? Oh, I didn't even ask me that. I sit there and go, before we start, I don't have a degree. I know you see you need a degree for this post, but instead of spending 4 years in college, I spent those 4 years learning how to sell, so I don't have a degree. And they'd sit there and go, oh, okay, this motherfucker, he knows this shit. I didn't need a degree. I didn't need fucking college. I didn't need university. I didn't need nothing, because I had the lessons I taught you in number 1, the first video, and the lessons I taught you in number 2. I had the body language of a fucking winner. I had the mindset of a fucking winner, and they wanted a fucking winner on the team. How do you get rich? Well, it doesn't matter if you're going to end up eventually getting your own company, but I didn't get my own company until I was 25. For a long time, I worked normal jobs, but I worked sales jobs, because sales jobs allowed you to make unlimited money. So I worked sales initially. But it doesn't matter if it's your own company. It doesn't matter if it's working for someone else. It's down to your body language. It's down to your mindset. Absolutely, that's how you get rich. Yeah, you're going to fuck up sometimes. So some of the jobs, I'd talk all this shit. I'd get the job, and I couldn't sell as much as the other guys. I started off, because I didn't know the product. I'm Mr. fucking Big Bollocks, and then I couldn't sell as much as the other guys. And they take me in and they say, okay, yeah, you sold some product, yeah, but you didn't quite hit target this month. And then the MD, part of them was kind of like, haha, motherfucker, you're not as smart as you thought. But I just sit there and say, yeah, it's my first month. I'm still learning, but my promises have not changed. I'm a man of my word, and I absolutely guarantee you I'm going to smash this sales target. And I just stick there and stick to my fucking word, and I'd repeat the same shit over and over again. You know what? Those managing directors of those companies are probably sitting there going, this motherfucker is delusional. He's a little bit delusional, but he keeps trying. He makes the phone calls. He's trying his best. People would rather have someone who's too confident with delusion than someone who's living firmly in the real world. Oh, well, this is going to be hard because I don't know the product yet, but I'm hoping once I learn the product, my sales will go up. No managing director wants to hear that shit. Fuck that garbage. I'm going to fucking beat the record. I'm going to be the best there's ever been. You just got to give me a little bit more time to learn. I'm the badass. I'm the best person here. What's funny now is that I probably have more money than any of them MDs ever had, because I fucking meant what I said. I said that shit. I fucking meant it. I don't give a fuck. I meant it. This is not an act. I'm telling you how to do this, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, I have to act this way. It's not a fucking act. You have to believe it. Believe that shit. How do you get rich for real? Believe that you can do anything it takes to get paid. My business card, like I said, we're doing this entire series without any cuts or any takes. So I'm gonna get my business card. Stay right here. I want to show you something. When I show them my business card, everyone laughs at it, thinks it's some kind of fucking joke. My business card is not a fucking joke. My business card is real. So you look on my business card, it says Andrew Tate, millionaire and all-around nice guy. And on the back it says, I'll tell you a very quick story. On the back it says, this is a quote of my dad's, "My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor." That's a quote of my father's that he pulled out. In fact, because we got time, because you're sitting here learning how to be a G, let me tell you the story about a real fucking G. So I was in Detroit, Michigan, 3 in the morning in a gas station with my dad when these Mexicans ran in to rob the store. They didn't have guns, which is extremely surprising for America. They had bats and knives. They start smashing the store up, whatever. They get a little bit of money from the till, whatever. I'm standing in the store. I'm standing there with my dad. They leave. My dad says, "Stay here, son," and walks out. So I guess he was checking if they were still outside. My father was an interesting character. I don't know what. Maybe he was going to fight. I don't really know what his genuine intention was. I was too young to understand it. But I heard them attack him, so they were obviously still outside. He got attacked. Anyway, the police turn up. 7 or 8 minutes later, my dad is badly damaged. He'd been hit with the bat, and they cut his face, and he's bleeding everywhere. But he didn't go down. He didn't get knocked out. In the end, in fact, they ran away because he had one of them that has a permanent, because they caught him. In fact, I'm going to try and find the picture for this video because my dad had a picture of it. Had a permanent scar because my dad took a chunk out of his cheek with his teeth. Fucking ruthless shit. Anyway, the police officer turns up and goes, asked my dad what happened. My dad said, "I went out there to check it was okay for my son to leave, and they attacked me, and I fucking bit this guy's face off, and I fucked this guy up, and then they all ran off, and yeah, I've been cut, and they hit me with the bat, and da-da-da-da." And the police officer goes, "What's your job?" To my dad. My dad was a big guy. The police officer was a bit like, "What's your job?" My dad said, "I'm a chess player." And the police officer said, "Well, maybe you should have been something else, as in you should have been a cop, or you should have been a bodyguard or something." And my dad replied, this quote, my dad said, "My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor." That's how my father spoke. That's just how he spoke through life. So he was a fucking crazy guy to be around. But that quote, what he's saying is, my unmatched perspicacity, my ability to perceive things, coupled with sheer indefatigability, my ability to not become fatigued, I don't become tired, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. So that was my dad's way of saying to the police officer, "Fuck you. You think chess is bullshit? I can do chess and I can whoop these guys' ass. I can do anything." That's how my father spoke. So that's a very quick story. But back to my business card. I've put that on there in homage to the big G. But in the back it says, "I specialize in the following." And you'll see a whole list of tasks, a whole bunch of stuff on there that I specialize in. You can read it. Pause the video if you want. You can read each one. So, wars fought, modeling exposure, assassinations plotted, revolutions started. The list goes on and on. Tigers tamed, helicopter hire. When people read this and they go, "Andrew, you're full of shit." I'm not full of shit. I'm a fucking G. The point is, if you're going to pay me enough money, I'll get it done. That's always been my mindset. What's the key to becoming rich? Well, first, if you're ready to pay me, there's nothing I will not do. Sits here saying revolution started, people sit there and laugh. If someone's going to transfer me $1 billion American, I guarantee I'll start a fucking revolution. I guarantee it. If you're ready to pay me my fee, maybe my fee is too much for you, or maybe you think I overpriced myself, whatever. But if you're ready to pay me the fee I say I want, and you're going to pay it to me, I'll get it done. Pay me first, I'll get it done. If you want a rocket on Mars, no problem. Pay me. I'll set a price, 3.5 billion American. You give me 3.5 billion American dollars, I'll get a rocket on the moon, one way or a fucking another. I don't care if I have to hire someone else to do it. I don't care if I have to fucking learn how to do it myself. I don't give a fuck if I have to contact some aliens with my fucking iPhone, WhatsApp them, say, "Look, I need help moving something to Mars." I don't care what it takes. If you're going to pay me, I'm going to fucking do it. Because if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And that's the point of my card. There's nothing I cannot do for a fee. That's the kind of person you need to be. What's the key to being rich? People need to know you as a fixer. They got to think, you know what? This is the guy who can get shit done. Back in my sales career, and I quit sales when I'm actually a 4-time world champion. I was working up until the point I was world champion, because there isn't actually as much money in fighting as people think. When I became 1-time world champion, I retired, but I was working in sales up until the age of 25. When you become good at sales and you get a reputation as a good salesman, you can never be unemployed. And it's amazing how that reputation spreads. I had job offers weekly. Weekly, I'd have people I previously worked with who've become manager and want to get their figures up, call me trying to get me back. People who I'd previously worked with who'd moved to new companies and were putting a team together and wanted good salesmen on their team would call me. I was getting calls constantly. Tate, come move for this one, we can sell this. Tate, come sell that. Tate, come sell this. Because I was the guy, I was the go-to guy to sell product. We have to sell product. We have to get our figures up. Who do you know who can get it done? Well, this Tate guy, I worked with him before. He's fucking crazy. He sells shit. That's who I was. And when I say what's the key to getting rich, so back then, I mean, I was taking home, I don't know, $10,000 a month or something. Like, to me now, that doesn't even cover my fucking car servicing and petrol. But to me then, that was good money. You know, in the real world, that's good money. So what's the key to getting rich? Because to most people, to even you watching, $10,000 a month makes you rich. That's rich. To me now it's not, because everything's scalable. And your perspective changes. Now $10,000 a month would leave me very poor. But back then, it was a lot of money to me. So even then I consider myself rich. So what was the key to getting rich? The lessons I taught you in the first and second fucking video. The way I thought, the way I spoke, the way I carried myself, being a sayer, saying shit and making it fucking come true like magic. That's the key to fucking getting rich. Every single lesson you're gonna go through in this course is gonna fucking come back to the same things. Your fucking view of this world. The way you view the world. I view the world, and I genuinely believe I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. And everyone who calls me arrogant is not nearly as successful as me, so fuck them. I don't care. I'm the best. I am the best. And when I sat there, let me tell you something, when I did end up breaking those sales records, every other motherfucker in that company, there's a lot who couldn't stand me, but some of the other sales guys, they'd be like, you know what, I have to give you respect. You've come in here, you talk shit. You said you're gonna be the best. You didn't even want a basic wage, and here you are, you just beat the record. I have to, hats off to you, you're crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. That's how you gotta be as a person. That's how you have to be as a person. So when people talk about being prepared to fail, I think a lot of that is because people get put off by failure. You know, failure is one of those things that's going to hit you and it's going to stop you wanting to come back and try again. That's what really being prepared to fail is all about. And that's why the fighting is so important as well, because when you go and start learning to fight, you're going to get your fucking ass kicked and it's going to hurt and you're going to feel like a dickhead. But you have to get used to just getting over that. You know, you got to get over it and get up and carry on anyway. That's why that's such an important facet of the G mindset, along with everything else I've taught you, the first 4 lessons of the mindset. But those things together, I'm telling you, if you get those things right, everything I'm saying to you is going to start to make sense. The key to getting rich doesn't have to be owning your own business. I know that's very unpopular to say. Owning your own business is fantastic. But in a lot of cases, owning your own business is more work than a normal job. People think, I'm going to own my own business, and then I'll be free to do whatever I want. No, if you own your own business, you're not free to do shit because you own your own business. You have more fucking stress than if you have a normal job. When you have a normal job, you go home, it turns off. You get your own business, it never turns off. So it's not really that clear cut. And I'm not going to be the guy who sits there and says, if you ever have a job, you're never going to be rich. That's bullshit too. You can go get the right job and the correct job, and you can end up being a very rich individual. There's CEOs of Kellogg's. You think he doesn't own Kellogg's? You think he ain't rich? He's fucking rich. He's fine. What I'm saying to you right now is that to make yourself feel more rich, to make more money than you currently make, if you doubled your income right now, you'd be nowhere near my income, nowhere near, but you'd feel rich because you've been living for a certain amount of time on a certain income. How do you double your income instantly? Well, you double your income instantly by fucking implementing my mindset and going out there and either changing your job or going back into your boss and saying, you know what, I'm gonna do a better job than I've ever done before. I'm about to do X, Y, and Z. I'm about to change this for the company. I'm gonna do all this. I'm gonna do that for a month and you're gonna see how valuable I am, and then I want this much money. And if your boss goes no, say fine, I'll find someone who will say, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna do it all, and then we can talk again. If you're still not interested, I'm gonna have to find other employment. Sit there, revolutionize shit, mix shit up, do some fucking crazy shit, and you'll make more money. You wanna feel rich, you can feel more rich right now. A number one piece of advice I give to everybody, they go, oh, what job, what industry? Sales. Find a fucking sales job, sit there, refuse the basic wage, demand double commission, tell them you're gonna be the best there's ever been, and because you've implemented the lessons in the first video, when you say shit, it comes true. Be that guy who succeeds, then you'll feel fucking rich. It's all about mindset. It's all about how to become rich is a mindset. It's not about trying to get hold of money. It's about viewing the world in a way where you are such a high value individual that things float to you. People were desperate to employ me. I didn't have to ask for jobs. They were desperate to employ me. Even now, when I started my company, when I first started my company, I needed an investment from a guy. I went to him and I said, look, I want $200,000. When I go to someone and say, I need 200 grand, we're going to make some money, they want to give me the money. I don't have to convince them to give me the money. They want to give me the fucking money. They're like, okay, 200? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Because they knew who I was as a person. So the key to getting a job, the key to being paid more, the key to getting investments, the key to this, all the fucking same. It's a mindset and it's a personality. It's who you are as a person. If you implement that at fucking the G mindset, you get that shit right, you're gonna have anything you want. Then you want to start a business, you need an opportunity or an investment to do it, people are gonna fucking give it to you because you have a reputation as someone who does not fail. Become someone who does not fail and you will easily become someone who is rich. All right, how to get rich for real, part 2. If you've listened to the lessons in part 1, you're now making more money than you've ever made before because your time is now more valuable. You're a different person. You demand more respect. You command more respect. And even if you're only making a little bit more money than you were previously making, you're still making more money. So now you start to feel a little bit rich. Now, there's a whole bunch of people online who know more about the ins and outs of fucking ISAs and all that bullshit than me. There's a whole bunch of people out there who will give you a million different tips and tricks to do really how to get your money up. I'm not interested in any of that crap. I'm just going to tell you the truth of how to really make money. There's 2 things you need to establish. First, you cannot save yourself rich. And I say this because a lot of people are interested in being so frugal, and they think that that's the key to wealth. Being frugal is not the key to wealth. Being frugal will never make you rich. If you're making $5,000 a month and you manage to live your entire life spending $0, you pay no money for food, you pay 0 money to get to and from work, you live somewhere for free, and you never need clothes ever, and you save 100% of your $5,000 a month, you will still never, ever be rich. It will still take you 12 years to buy my car. It's not going to happen. The only way, and that's one of my cars, other than the rest, the only way you're ever going to get rich is if you substantially increase your income. This is the first thing. The second thing is, if your income is linked directly to your time, there's only so much time in the day. The first part of this lesson, the first lesson was make your time more valuable. Make those hours you spend working generate you more. That's fine. Unless you can do that exponentially to a crazy sum, unless you can get to some crazy figure. In reality, you're going to need other people doing things for you, or you need something happening without your input so that your time isn't linked to your money. If your time is linked to your money, you're going to run out of time, you're not going to make enough money. So people often say, okay, I understand that. So passive income. There's no such thing as passive income. I hear the word passive income a lot, and there's really not very much which is truly passive income. People say, oh, like property is passive income. No, it isn't. You think buying a house and renting a house is passive income, then you've absolutely never done it. Renting a house means you've got to find tenants, put tenants in there, make sure they pay you on time. The washing machine's broken, you got to go around there and fix that. Oh, the rent's late, you have to go around there and argue with the tenant. Then you have to end up kicking the tenant out. Then you have to try and find another one. The whole apartment's trashed, they've damaged the walls. Renting an apartment is a full-time fucking job, and the return on it really isn't that much. I mean, you buy an apartment for $300,000, you rent it for like $1,000 a month. It really ain't all that. I mean, people, especially old school people, talk about property. Property was the way you became wealthy. You bought a house when you were young and you became wealthy. But nowadays, it's not how it's done. Plus, property is very, very slow. Okay, you buy a house now, you're going to be rich or well off when you've paid it off when you're 55, 60. Who gives a fuck about being rich when you're 60? Who cares? I would rather be rich now and broke when I'm 60 than broke now and rich then. I'd happily be broke when I'm 60. I'll fucking rock up in Thailand with a bottle of whiskey and a couple of prostitutes and jizz 5 times a day. I don't give a fuck. I'm old. I don't need clothes or a nice car or nothing. Who cares? You're 60. No one's interested in your Lambo when you're 60. They're interested in your Lambo when you're young and hung like me. So the point is property and passive income and all this garbage is out the window. You really need to find a way to increase your income. So I'm going to tell you how I did it. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to tell you the basics. What I understood was this. I can't link my time to my money. And I need to find a way to increase my income. So what you need to do is, and it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's mowing grass. It doesn't matter if it's something else. It doesn't matter if it's fucking typing documents. It doesn't matter if it's translating. It doesn't matter what it is. What you need to do is find a service people will pay for. And you need to find someone who will do it cheaper than the price being offered. That's it. It really is that simple. So I'll give you a really quick example. Imagine someone offered you $20 to do something. That's fine. Instead of doing it and wasting an hour of your time, find someone who will do it for $19. Pay them $19 and it's done. This is why I said in the first video, you don't have to own your own business to end up rich. You don't. And you can feel very rich if you double your wages or you do a sales job, that's fine. But you will inevitably, at a certain income point, probably end up owning your own business by doing what I'm describing right here. You get people to do things for you. You're the middleman as such, and this just evolves into your own business. Even some of the people on Twitter, I noticed they're pushing like CBD oil and all this stuff, and they're being affiliates. That's fine. But if I was them, I'd have an affiliate link underneath the affiliate link, which is not just my Twitter page, but I'd put it out to other influential Twitter pages. So instead of getting, okay, imagine you have a Twitter and you're an affiliate. You're selling something for 50%. That's absolutely fine. I would do that. But what I'd also do is get another link that I got 25% of and 25% to someone else, and I'd be pushing that out. You make a lot more money with other people doing the work for you, if you understand. So you can be an affiliate and you can get affiliates underneath you. Doesn't matter, even if you're the second or the third person down the line, you can still get people below you. Doesn't matter what business we're talking about here. If someone's prepared to pay for something, that's fine. Find something that needs doing, find a price they're prepared to pay, and find somebody who's going to do it for less than the price. Now, if it's a huge job, you need to make a good markup. But if it's small jobs, $1 is fine. If they're paying 20 and it takes 30 minutes and you know someone who'll do it for 19, you just need to suck up them jobs, as many as you can. Get someone else who's going to do more. Get another person who'll do it for 19. Get more jobs, more jobs, more jobs. Do such a, make sure, quality control, make sure the jobs are done properly. You're collecting $1 for doing nothing. This is the key to making money. I, a long time ago, knew a guy who was a street pimp. And he said, pimping is the only real passive income. I was like, why? He goes, because I sit here and they are doing the work. I don't have to do anything. Then they just give me the money. He goes, no other business where that is done. But basically, that is essentially all businesses. You're pimping out someone else's time for your cash. So it doesn't matter what it is. You can go on Craigslist, you can go on anything. Find something people are prepared to pay for. Find someone saying, look, I need some garbage collected and moved or whatever, $100 for the day, whatever. And then just call around your friends, find your 15-year-old brother, find someone who'll do it for $90, collect $10. That's a task for you. Pull it off once and your world will change. You'll do it once, you go, wow, okay. Then you just have to find a way to scale it. Because the problem with linking your time to your money is there's no scalability. When you destroy that link, you can scale things. So I personally generate business, I generate quite a lot of money and it's not linked to my time. I have a lot of people out there making money and I make some money. There's people I pay more than I make. For example, there's a particular setup I have where I have 3 people making, let's say, $10,000 a month. I'm only making $3,000 from it, but it's their full-time job and I literally do nothing. So to them, they're getting paid more than me, but I don't do anything. I keep all of my time. And if you can set up enough little things like this, $3,000 a month isn't much, but you know, it's the electricity bill, whatever. And it all adds up, and then you come up with a new idea, a new idea, a new idea. Most people out there do not want to be as entrepreneurial as you will have to be. Most people do not want the responsibility of trying to find money on their own. What they want is guaranteed money. That's what they want. They don't want the hard part of finding the job, negotiating the price. They don't want that. They just want someone to say, do this, I'll give you this. Most people are robots. So you have to take advantage of that. And it doesn't matter if it's cutting grass, it doesn't matter if it's something online, it doesn't matter what it is. If you can take advantage of that, you will find a way to make money. Start this on a very small scale. Start this on a small scale so your time's no longer linked to your money and you're making $500 extra a month. Small scale. Bang. Get an affiliate marketing. I'm telling you something now. You can go on Twitter right now with 1,000 followers. You can do a deal with a company to get an affiliate saying, if I get any product sold through this link, I get X%. Get that done. Then all you have to do is convince people with more followers than you, people more important than you are, to tweet your link. And they're the ones doing all the work. They're the ones with all the influence. They're the ones with all the fucking followers. And you're still getting paid off of their accounts. Like, there's a million things you can do. All it's down to is, once I said before, your mindset, your body language, knowing people, people respecting you. If you approach someone with an opportunity, they respect it. If you do these kind of things and you know people who like making money, then you're going to be fine. But this is also another real key thing. When I say know people who like making money, most people, the people they hang around with are dickheads. Most people hang around with people uninterested in money. Before I had money, all I talked about was money. When I'd sit around with my friends, it'd be like, oh, hi, how you been? Yeah, okay, bang. How can I make money? How are you making money? How do we make money right now? We're in this coffee shop. Okay, how much is the coffee? Do you think they're making money in the shop? Do you think they're losing money? Why is the waitress ugly? They'd make more money if they had a pretty waitress. Why don't they have a garden outside? It's sunny outside. Do they sell cake? No. If I had a coffee shop next door and I sold cake and I had a garden and I had a pretty waitress, would I make more money than them? These are the things that would just go through my mind when I was just sitting having coffee. You're sitting there having coffee, scrolling up and down Instagram, looking at people with better lives than you, unhappy. I was sitting there thinking, okay, maybe I need to fucking take this place out of business. And then I can buy it off them for pennies when they're fucking broke. You got to think about these things. If you think about money and the people you're around only think about money and you understand that if you can take on any job, any task, and you can outsource it for less than you're being paid, you're going to make money. This is what my business card's all about. Tigers tamed. People go, well, you can't tame a tiger. No, but you know what I can do? I can tell you a price. You can send me the money, and I can find someone who will tame a tiger for less than you sent me. That's what I can fucking do. So that's why I make sure my price is right. So you're like, oh, you can't tame tigers. I can tame a tiger. Send me $1 million, I'll tame a tiger. Try me. And I'll keep $500,000. I'll give $500,000 to some fucking African dude who grew up around tigers. He's happy, I'm happy, bang. I ain't got to fucking see a tiger. I'm busy getting a blowjob. That's how you get rich. That is the key. That's the second component. Key one, make yourself high value, increase your income with whatever you're currently doing, that's fine. Number two, de-link your time and your money. Find a way to become a middleman. Find a way to become a fixer. Outsource things. And if you start doing that correctly, I'm telling you, money starts to come in. From there, what you want to do with the money is up to you. Some people are investing in cryptocurrency. Some people are investing in property, whatever. It's completely up to you. But a lot of these online how to make money blogs are garbage. They tell you if you don't drink a Starbucks once a week and save it, in 15 years you'll have 30 grand. Like, who gives a shit? Like, what is 30 grand? Me and CMQ blow 30 grand in a weekend. Like, what can you buy a house with 30 grand? Can you buy a car with 30 grand? Well, yeah, but is it a life-changing car? No. Like, it's not even a lot of money. It's all garbage. I can tell you a few tricks for frugality, but it ain't gonna change your life. I mean, all in all, it ain't gonna change your life. You can't save yourself rich. You need to increase your income. So the task from this video is as follows. Watch all the other videos again. Get the mindset right, get the body language right, etc. So when you approach someone and say, hey, I've got a job. If you do this, I can pay you this much money. Get them to agree. Find someone else. Find the job first. Find someone who goes, I need this doing. Fine, no problem. Find someone else to do it. Make sure they're getting paid less than you're getting paid. Keep the middle money. And that's how you'll end up starting your first business. Very few people start their first business by just quitting their job and starting a company online and go in there and starting a company. It doesn't work that way. It's far more organic than that. It grows slowly. Like, you know what? I can outsource this to him, outsource this to him. I have to quality control their work to make sure it's done properly. All of a sudden, I'm basically their boss. Oh, we got lots of work coming in. They're working full time, blah, 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 blah. And before you know, you have a company. That's how it goes. So if you're sitting there going, well, what things can I do? Look, Google online. There's a million different little bullshit jobs on Craigslist or whatever. Find someone to do it. If you have a little brother, make his stupid ass do it. Find a way. And one way or another, that's going to grow into a company. And then you'll be rich. How to get hot girls. Now, this is a subject I could talk about for a very long time, but I want you to understand some basic concepts to the pimp game. Basic concepts to the realities between men and women. There are some factors you can control, and there are a lot of factors you cannot control when it comes to getting hot women. Now, if you don't know who I am, you don't know my qualifications, I don't want to brag about how many women I've fucked, whatever. You know, I'm rolling in the highest possible echelons. All those Instagram models you're seeing with like 100,000 followers, and you're sitting there thinking, who's that guy? Who gets to actually fuck her in the night? Well, it's me. That's who. So I'm rolling in the highest possible echelons of female quality, and I know the game inside out. So first, let's discuss the things that you cannot affect. One of the largest and least discussed factors to attracting females is an uncontrollable thing, which is timing. Timing has a huge effect on how a female is going to react to you. If you go up to let's say, imagine you're in a nightclub, you're chilling in a nightclub, you go up to a girl, you want to talk to her. Now, if that girl has just been bought flowers to take it for dinner by her boyfriend before she goes to the club, she's not very likely to talk to you. If she just caught her boyfriend cheating, she's more likely to talk to you. Do you understand that things that happened prior to your meeting have a massive influence on how she's going to react to your approach? Is she happy in her relationship? Is she not? Is she staying at her friend's house tonight? Is she not? Is she on her period? Is she not? Dumb shit. Like, these are things that can completely affect. If your girl knows she's getting picked up by her boyfriend at the end of the night, why is she going to talk to you? If she knows her boyfriend's out of town, she's supposed to be staying with her friends, and her boyfriend's pissed her off because he ain't texted her in a few days, she's a lot more likely to reply to you. These are things that have nothing to do with your approach. My point is that every single female has a window where they are susceptible to your language, and there's windows where they're completely closed. My chicks who I have on lock, the multiple females I have on lock, I am very confident that if they go to a club or they go out and a man tries to talk to them, there's nothing that man can say that's going to get her to be interested in him. There's nothing, because they're closed. They are closed for business. It's like having a fucking storefront. The store's closed. You can't go inside. Whereas if the store's open, you can go inside and try and negotiate a deal. So you need to understand that timing has a huge factor to play with every single female. This is very important. So we know timing has a huge effect. Timing has a huge effect. There's been girls who I've hit up that kind of half replied to me, never really got anywhere. Hit them up again 6 months later when I see their big booty pop up again on my Facebook feed. We end up at dinner and I say, the first time I tried to talk to you, we didn't get anywhere. And she's like, yeah, I was going through some stuff. I had some problems at home. Basically, she wasn't open for business the first time I tried to speak to her. I'm obviously the kind of man she likes because right now we're on a date. She obviously wants the dick. But at the time, she wasn't susceptible to my approach because timing has a huge factor to play with females. And this is why they say it's a numbers game. It's not a numbers game because you're definitely going to fail. In fact, I'll be confident enough to say, I mean, I know all these fucking game books say otherwise. If a bitch is open for business and I make an approach, I have an 80% success rate. I will fuck 80 to 90% of the females who I attempt to sleep with, at least. Probably even higher. I'll say 100, I don't give a fuck. If a girl's single and I say hello and she feels like talking that day, it's game over. I don't fail ever. Sooner or later, they're naked. So when they say it's a numbers game, it's not because you must fail when you're getting girls. That's bullshit game talk for amateurs. The reason it's a numbers game is because you don't really know who's open for business and who isn't. I can give you a few tips and visual cues to decide who's open for business, who isn't. Fuck that garbage. It's better just to stick it as a numbers game. You try, they're not open for business, next. You try, they're not open for business, next. You try, she is susceptible to your game, and then you move on. So this is one of the first things you need to understand about females, is that women, there are a lot of factors you can't control, and a lot of women are not open for business. Now, during this period where they're not open for business, do not blast your chances by making her lose respect for you. So if you message a girl, she doesn't reply, fine. You want her to reply, you want to play with her tits, I get it. Wait at least 3 months before you try again. Give it a chance for her shit to blow over. Because let me tell you something, if she has 2 messages or 3 messages from you a year, maybe 2 years later when she's fucking sitting at home, she's lonely, and you say, let's go have some fun, she'll reply to you, that's fine. But when she has 1,000 messages and you message her, even if she feels like replying, she's gonna scroll up and see that creepy shit and be like, fuck this guy's a weirdo. So don't blast your chances. When the fucking door's closed and the shop isn't open for business, don't fucking bang on that door too hard. Because all you're gonna do is make her lose respect for you and you're never gonna get laid. So you can't be doing that shit. If someone's not susceptible to your approach, leave it. And leave it a generous period of time. Approach other women. Come back when there's been a period of time in which things might have changed. Things haven't changed in 2 days. Things haven't changed in 3 hours. Stop hitting them up, you look like a dickhead. So this is a very important thing. This is the first thing. Second thing you need to understand about getting hot women is that women are never without attention. You don't have to make a girl like you. That's easy. You have to make a girl like you more than she likes the other guys who are trying to make her like them. Do you understand the difference? You have to win. As a girl, she just has to, as a girl, if you're a girl, you have to make a guy like you, guy fucks you. Easy. As a man, you have to make the girl like you most. Because there's always other dudes attempting to make her like them. That's something else you need to understand. And when I was saying to you before about body language, about mindset, etc., one of the keys to doing this is to make the small gestures that you go through more valuable than the small gestures they go through. Exactly the same as I was talking about job interviews. The things you do have to be more valuable. How to get rich? Well, my time's worth more, so you must pay me more. It's exactly the same with females. So for example, imagine you are trying to talk to a girl. She'll never admit it, but she's talking to 2 or 3 other dudes. She'll never admit it. Until she's exclusively yours, there's other guys hitting up her phone. One of those guys sends her flowers. You don't send her flowers. Now on paper, he's winning. He went through it. He sent her flowers. He did something for her. He thought of her. You did nothing. But if you're such a high value man that you're busy and you're getting your shit done, you're getting paid, and you say to her, yeah, I've been busy today, I'll message you later, and she respects you enough to look at those words and go, okay, I know he's busy, he has things going on, then you win anyway. You ain't got to send the flowers. It's not about the flowers. It's about your time being more valuable. It's about putting a price on yourself which is higher than this guy's. So you don't have to go through the same bullshit he went through to try and prove a point. You can prove a point with a message. I got shit going down, but I'm going to call you at 7. That's worth more because your time's worth more than fucking Mr. Nobody send flowers. Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's not about the gesture itself. It's about how you value yourself. This is why in every video I keep going back to the G mindset and the body language. These things are extremely important with females. I don't try too hard with girls. I really don't try too hard. I will talk to them a little bit. I'll make it clear that I'm not as big an asshole as people think I am. And then I'll try and progress to a meeting. If that meeting doesn't seem to materialize, then the game's over for me. I'm not sitting here trying to chase a meeting out of some bitch. That's not who I am as a person. Because you need to understand that half of the people on this planet, 50% of all people alive, are females. So that woman you think is so special, that one you really want, she's so special, she ain't special, bro. She ain't special. Get that shit out your head straight away. Because the more special you think she is, the more you're going to fuck up when you're talking to her. She ain't special. She takes a shit in the morning like everyone else. Just a fucking human organism. Who cares? There's girls prettier than her around. Maybe you ain't got their phone numbers, but they exist. So you got to go out and get them. So don't be trying too hard. Now, the reason I get away with such little work is because I put such a high price tag on myself. I am a 4-time kickboxing world champion multimillionaire. So even any female, no matter how beautiful, knows I'm never going to be the guy hitting her up constantly. I'm not going to be the guy she can call and I'll always answer. I'm not going to be the dude who will give her lifts to work. She knows I got shit going on. So remember what I was saying earlier to you about how I've never struggled with females because I never focused on the females. These other game books and Roosh and all these idiots. This is the woman, get the woman, get the woman. Forget the bitch, forget her, forget all the chicks. Worry about yourself, get yourself straight. And when your own shit's straight, got yourself together, females are an added bonus. It's much easier to focus on yourself and get yourself high level and then start getting females than it is to forget about yourself. Spend all your time day game running around the mall, doing 1,000 approaches, trying to pick up a real fucking slut who will bang anyone and getting laid. Fuck that garbage. All the game you've read before is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, and you're going to see why it's bullshit in one of the upcoming videos about how to keep hot girls, especially you're going to see why it's bullshit. But it's bullshit because if you go up to 1,000 girls, you get 5 phone numbers and one might fuck you. Yeah, I'm sure that's absolutely true, but so? You're going to spend your life, instead of becoming rich, instead of becoming strong, instead of becoming smart, you're just going to fucking run around a mall, approaching girls, day game? It's bullshit. It's garbage. It's for children. All that shit is for children. I focused on myself. And that's how I've managed to attain the highest quality females. And also not attain, retain, which is another thing we're going to do in a separate video, because retaining females is completely different to obtaining females. So we're talking about the factors that you cannot control in terms of females. We talked about the timing, how some stores are closed. We talked about how you have to make her like you more than the other guys. And sometimes that's difficult, because let me tell you something. She might be talking to a real G. If she's talking to me, you're going to struggle to make her like you more. That's the truth. I have more tangible assets, more physical, financial, and mental assets. Plus, I know the game. Sometimes you're outclassed. That's how it goes. Sometimes you're just outclassed. That's how it goes. That's another thing you can't really control. But what you can control in those situations is that you don't make her lose respect for you and don't kill your chance for the future by being a little begging for attention bullshit. Keep your honor about you. Because if you're going to lose the game, there's 2 ways to lose it. With honor and without honor. You're going to lose. As soon as you sense you're going to lose, as soon as you detect, this girl, I'm not going to get her, then you can either lose her by begging, hoping for that little tiny chance and losing all your respect, or just thinking, you know what, I'm going to try again in 8 months. Fuck this bitch. I'll get someone else. So we all know what the correct decision is. Don't be fucking so desperate for a girl that you just lose all your honor and self-respect. Because then you're never going to get her. Ever. And that's some real dumb shit. So I want you to understand when we start talking about women, there's a whole bunch of factors you cannot control. Now, there are some factors you can control. Obviously, who you are as a person, like I said, lesson 1, lesson 2, etc. If you're watching this course, you need to watch the first lesson 100 times. If you understand the first lesson, the first video I made in this course, if you understand it and implement it correctly, everything I'm saying to you right now is all you already know. You already know it. What I'm saying now, you're like, well, yeah, of course, because of the 4 lessons I gave you in the first course. So if you understand them correctly, I don't really have too much to say, but I'm just reiterating some points for you. So when it comes to approaching hot girls, you have to understand this. Some are open for business, some are closed for business. Next, what can you do? Besides the factors that you cannot control, what are the factors you can control? Well, body language is one of them, obviously. Clothes, we've discussed all this. But really, when it comes to approaching females, game as a whole is something I don't like. I don't like the idea of it because it's bullshit. It really is bullshit. I cannot sit here and tell you how to act. Even if I told you to have the exact same mannerisms as me and say the exact same things I would say, they work for me, but they will not work for you because we're individuals. We're absolutely individuals. For the same reason when you learn to fight, you learn the basics of it. But if I were to say, mimic my movements millimeter for millimeter, I won't get hit and you will get hit because we're in different bodies. It's just we're different people. So I can't sit here and say, do this, do this, do this. Anyone who tries to tell you that, what they're doing is they're trying to oversimplify an extremely complicated situation in an attempt to get paid. Because every single female you approach is going to be different. Every single scenario when you're in is going to be different. Every restaurant you sit in is going to be different. You're different to me. The mood she's in is going to be different. The weather is going to be fucking different. Maybe it's raining, maybe it's sunny. Everything has a small part to play. So for me to sit here and say, if you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, you're going to get laid, is the kind of bullshit people package up, trying to make it a complicated situation seem simple to get money. Getting laid is not simple. The only thing you can do if you want to retain, especially in a future video, retain as well as obtain hot women, is be yourself. You cannot project and act for any considerable period of time. That's not possible. The only way you can be anything for a considerable period of time is to be yourself. So maybe you're a shit person. Yeah, fine, maybe. But you have to absolutely and utterly be yourself. Now, there are some things which are ironclad beneficial when it comes to getting females. You can be yourself and be a confident version of yourself as opposed to a meek version of yourself. Confidence is always attractive because men were built to lead. Like we said earlier, men were built for combat. So confidence is something you need. Everyone already knows this shit. And confidence doesn't have to be sitting there and bragging. Confidence is little things. When you pick the girl up, where are we going? I know where we're going. Not where do you want to go? She doesn't want to hear that shit. She doesn't want to make decisions. Females don't want to think. They want to be led down a rabbit hole of entertainment. They want to be entertained. They don't want to think. They don't want to sit there and have to think about it. They'll say, yeah, we're going here. Even if you get there and it's shit, because I don't like it here, say, yeah, well, I do. Stick to your fucking guns. So confidence is obviously the first thing, but you know that shit already. Just be confident about who you are and what you say. Doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. You haven't got to be an asshole. In fact, a lot of people confuse the two. A lot of people go, girls like assholes. No, girls like confidence. But nowadays, only assholes have confidence. If you're the rare, select guy who's not an asshole and also supremely confident, you're definitely going to fuck. You haven't got to be an asshole. It's the confidence they're attracted to, not the asshole qualities. So yeah, you absolutely have to be yourself. You have to be a confident version of yourself. But we've already talked about this in lesson 1. Believe you can do anything. You're about to go on a date with Megan Fox. Are you intimidated? No. Because you're the fucking man. And you're going to fuck her same night after taking her to the worst restaurant in town. Because you can do anything. Because you're a fucking G. That's how I think. I don't even brush my hair. I don't even shave. I rock up in fucking clothes and wear them for 2 days. I don't give a fuck. Turn up. Hi. Start talking shit. Before you know it, she's naked. Because I know my skills. I know I'm the G. If you know you're the G, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You can be yourself and you can be a completely different person to me, personality-wise, and still be a G. You can say completely different things and still be successful. You can have different mannerisms and different techniques or whatever bullshit and still be successful if you've implemented the first lessons correctly. So how to get hot girls part 2. So we've discussed how there's a lot of factors you can't control. That's why it's a numbers game. The solution to all the factors you can't control is numbers game. Approach, 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 approach. Never blow out by losing your honor. If they're not open for business, fuck them off. Let's assume they are open for business. You've gone up to them, you said hello, whatever, whatever. Told you have to be yourself because you ain't going to be able to be anyone else for any long period of time. You're now a G. You're now a high-value individual, so being yourself is going to be valuable. Let me tell you something. Imagine I did a course on how to play piano, but we never actually played piano. We just sat here and talked about pianos, how pianos work, the basic rules of piano, the infrastructure of pianos, the different types of keys there are, blah, blah, blah. When you sit in front of a piano, are you going to be able to play the piano? No, you're not. And it's the same with girls. I can only give you so much advice. The only way you're going to get good at getting girls is to start getting girls. The reason I'm the best is because I've been through, I don't even know how many women. I don't know how many approaches. I don't know how many situations. I don't know how many turnarounds, how many shit tests. I've been through it all because I speak to lots and lots and lots of females. So the easiest way to get good with females is to speak to lots and lots and lots of females. The easiest actionable piece of advice I can get you to get good at getting girls is you need to be speaking to 1 or 2 new girls a day. Now, the coward's way is Facebook and Instagram. But every hot girl, their inbox is already full of people. It's very difficult to differentiate yourself from everyone else in that inbox. So that's not really the best way. You need to be interacting with 2 to 3 new females a day. They haven't got to be that hot. They can be 6s, 7s, whatever. But you need to be interacting with them one way or another.
If you interact with 2 or 3 new females a day, every day for 3 months, you're going to have a different quality of game than before you did so. You're going to have the girls who are rude to you. You have the girls who want to talk. You're going to go through it all. But let me give you some basic tips and tricks. The number one thing as a man you cannot do in any situation when it comes to females or anything else is compromise your honor, compromise your respect. So for me personally, I'll tell you how I do it. Let's say I get a lot of girls from social media nowadays because my Instagram page is off the chain. So you can tell by my Instagram page, if you know me, I'm a fun guy to be with. Females only want fun. It's all females care about is fun. So my Instagram's a little bit intimidating. So I removed the intimidation factor. I talked to them for a little bit. Within an hour or two, I'm saying WhatsApp. Now, when I ask for their WhatsApp, it's because it's more personal than an Instagram page. Instagram's for everybody. WhatsApp's for people you really know. So it's an escalation point. And either they agree and give it to me, or at this point, there's some points of contention. Now, if there's some points of contention, some small ones, I don't mind it. They might say, why do you want my WhatsApp? And I'll say, oh, my Instagram's slow on my phone. I make up some shit excuse. Because they want me to have some bullshit excuse. They know my excuse is bullshit. They know why I want it. I say my Instagram's slow. If they say, oh, if they contend again, oh, but I don't have to give my number out, I'll just say, okay, no problem. That's it. And then they'll go, okay, so what are you doing today? Bang, that's the conversation over. That's it, done. They lost their chance with me by not giving me their number when I demanded it. That's how I roll. Let me tell you something. Leave them on scene. Leave them ignored. She wants you more than ever. You can come back to her 3 months later. If you come back to her a week later, she's going to give you attitude. You can't do that. You got to leave it for such a long period of time she genuinely believes she was forgotten about. This is the abundance mentality. I'm talking to so many females. If I ask for your number after an hour and you're not going to give it to me, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Because you're too much fucking work for me. I ain't got time for that shit. Because I'm going to fuck someone today anyway. I'm at that level, so I don't really have to play your fucking game. If they give me the WhatsApp, that's an escalation. Within another hour or 2 hours, I'm looking to arrange a date. I am not the guy who sits there talking away. That's how you end up in the friend zone. I'm not that guy. Let's go for coffee. Oh, really? So soon? And then I'll say something like, well, you think you can get to know someone over messages? And they'll be like, well, no one says yes to that. Go, no, but you know, we just started talking. I said, well, you're not going to ever know me, and I'm never going to know you. You seem too complicated for me to work out over WhatsApp. That's what I'll say. And they'll either go, okay, and we'll sort out a date, or they'll go some other bullshit. Oh, well, you know, I just gave him the... If it's more bullshit, I say, okay, no problem, and ignore them. That's how it is. Because I deal with so many females. For me, it's a numbers game. I have so many females on my phone, I can't possibly reply fast enough. So I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you're a 10. You want to play these games with me, I'm not playing them. I don't play the games. Because you can never sacrifice your honor. So any female I've ever interacted with, even ones I haven't fucked, could not go through the history of our conversations and find anything that compromises me as a man. Keep that in mind when you're writing shit. That's really important. Because women only want to fuck guys they respect. They don't want to fuck any other guy. They don't want to fuck handsome guys. They want to fuck guys they respect. And if you sacrifice your respect, then she doesn't want to fuck you. So why do you want to meet her? You got to always keep the end goal in mind. Why do you want to go on a date with this girl? Is it to be her friend? Is it to buy her dinner? Is it to listen to her stories about her fucking other dickhead friends? Or is it to fuck her? Because if it's to fuck her, then you need to keep that in mind and not sacrifice your respect. If you have to sacrifice your respect to get her to come on a date, then she ain't gonna fuck you anyway, so why do you want the date? You don't. So don't forget the fucking end goal. So to learn, you have to learn about yourself more than you have to learn about women if you want to get good women. You have to know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. There's very few, but I know what they are. You have to learn about yourself if you want to learn about women. Imagine I told you to go out into the world and find the best apple you could find. If you come back and you've had 1 or 2 apples, you've looked at 1 or 2 apples, and you tell me which one's the best, is it the best apple in the world? Well, no, because you've only fucked around with a couple apples. So what do you know what a good apple is? They might all be bad apples. You don't know. Is that the biggest, juiciest apple you could possibly find? No. Whereas if you went out there and you fucked around with millions of apples, and I said, give me the best apple you could find, you're very likely to know a lot about apples and be able to identify an apple that's better than the rest. And women are exactly the same. Women are exactly the same. A lot of people want to learn game, not to fuck endless numbers of women. A lot of them want to learn game to get a woman who respects them and looks after them and is worth marrying. Well, if that's the case, game is more important than ever. Fucking a bunch of women is fun, yeah. But if you want a real wife quality woman, you need to tear through a whole bunch of women to find a good woman. I know what a good woman is because I've fucked so many girls. I've had so many apples, I can identify a good apple straight away because I've had so many. If I've only had 3 or 4 apples, what the fuck do I know about apples? You don't know shit. And that's why game's so important nowadays, because if you stand any chance of even surviving in a traditional relationship, man, woman, marriage, whatever, you still need to have game. You still need to play the field. You still need to fuck a whole bunch of girls before you identify what a good apple is. I never get played by girls because I can identify the kind of girls who are going to try and play me. People say, oh, you got money, and how do you know they don't just want you for their money? Because I'm not a fucking moron. Because I've fucked 1,000 gold diggers and 1,000 girls who aren't gold diggers, and I can spot it from a mile off. I can smell it. You think I'm fucking stupid? Because I have experience with apples. You got to get experience in this game. So the most important thing for how to get hot girls is experience. I'll tell you a story about a man called Luke the Man. Luke the Man worked with my brother in a coffee shop when Tristan was 18, 19, in a Pret in the airport. Now, nowadays, when me and Tristan, when we want to go on a pure get girls mission, let me diversify from this story quickly. Nightlife in general is shit. Nightlife is boring. Guys don't care about clubs. We don't care about music. We don't care about dressing up. We don't care about drinking. It's all garbage. Men only go to nightlife to fuck. We want girls. If someone were to say to a guy before he went on his night out, there is a 0% chance of you getting laid tonight, would the man still go? Most men would say, oh, I don't care then. I'm not going to go. It was the old school way men used to get girls. You know, nowadays there's more efficient ways, I guess, if you want to live on the internet, whatever. But that's how it was. That's what nightlife was based around. Pussy came, guys try and get the pussy, guys come and spend the money, da-da-da-da. So nowadays, when me and Tristan go into a club, if my brother goes to me, let's Luke the Man this club. What that means is let's just go up to every girl, let's get the numbers or blow out with every chick and leave. Fuck the drinks, fuck the music, fuck the fun. When I had no money, I never used to go to clubs. I didn't have money to waste. And I was also training, so I didn't have much time to waste. Club would close at 3. I'd walk in there at 2 o'clock when everyone was already drunk. I'd identify the 5 hottest girls in the club. I'd go up to them and talk some shit to all of them. Walk away with 2 phone numbers, and I'd go home. That was my nightlife done. I was there for fucking 35 minutes. Nightlife over. Next day, trying to get a date. So that's what we used to call Luke the Man in the club, because the only reason we'd go out was to get girls. So most men would go out, hang around with their friends, drink beer, build up their confidence, all that garbage. When you're a G, you don't need none of that shit. In, to the point, out. Hit 4 or 5 nightclubs in a row, leave with fucking 5 or 6 phone numbers, done. Hey, if the girl was particularly receptive, then you'd stay in the club trying to take her home at the end of the night. But if she's staying with her friends or da-da-da, and you don't think she's gonna fuck, you just get the number and leave. But there's a few times I turned up at 2 o'clock, sober as a judge. By 2:45, I'm walking out with a bitch. Because that's how I roll. So why did we call this Luke the Manning? Well, Luke the Man was one of the pioneers of the game. Luke the Man taught my brother a lot about the game. Way back when. So this is about 11 years ago. My brother worked in a coffee shop in an airport. One of the guys he worked with was called Luke. Luke was from the Ivory Coast Republic, one of the poorest countries in the world. Black as night, ugly as a motherfucker, broke as a joke, working in the coffee shop. But no matter the female, no matter how ugly, old, no matter how beautiful, no matter what, if they'd come up to that counter to get coffee, he would lay some game on them. He'd say, you're so beautiful, baby. I will give you a coffee, a special coffee from Luke the Man. He used to call himself Luke the Man. And my brother used to sit there and go, this guy's a fucking joke. Every single girl, he tries this same dumb shit. And at the end of giving them their coffee, he used to ask for their phone number. Every girl. Now, 90% of them told him to fuck off. 10% he got their number, he didn't fuck them. Every once in a while, he'd bang a real ugly one, whatever. About 2 months after my brother worked there, the guy, Luke the Man, came in one day with a picture of a Hungarian girl who was a fucking 10. Like a porn star, 10. Naked pictures of this girl. And Tristan's like, who the fuck's she? He goes, yeah, I spoke to her at the coffee shop. He's like, no way did you get that girl here. He goes, yeah, 2 days ago I got to here. I was at her house last night. Tristan could not believe it. Like, how the fuck? This girl's a 10. You're the ugliest, brokest black dude I've ever known in my life. Your teeth aren't even straight. How the fuck did you bang her? He's like, I'm Luke the Man. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'll talk to every girl with confidence. Every girl with confidence. I'm mixed race. I'm half black, half white. This is the one thing the brothers have over the white guys. Black guys don't need money to get laid. Black guys can be broke with one leg. They still get laid because they're confident and they don't give a fuck. That's how they are. So black guys, you got to worry. But here it is. He fucked a 10 out of 10. How many 10s have you fucked? You're probably sitting there going 1, 2. No, you've never fucked a 10. My 10 and your 10 are different. You've never fucked a 10. But Luke the Man has. Luke the man's fucked a 10, he has less money than you, and he's uglier than you. And he can barely speak fucking English. How? Because he didn't give a shit. Because Luke the man's a G. Luke the man has confidence, and he'll talk to any bitch. That's how you gotta be. Luke the man knows about girls. Remember that story.